Everybody, welcome back to VCTV. We've got probably one of the most fun episodes of the entire month planned for you right now. It is April 30th. We've got a great group of co-hosts that have joined me from around the world as investors to break down what's happening in the world from their perspective, not just in early stage venture, but also seed investments as well, and maybe some of the industry surrounding this. We're probably going to talk about alternative energies, electric vehicles, talk about climate change as well, and where investments are or are not going at the early stage. We're going to talk about AI. We're going to talk about quantum. Guarantee. We're going to talk a little bit about pets, food. We're going to probably talk about a bunch of other subjects, including blockchain, as we did just moments ago. So get ready, get an extra cup of coffee, and here we go. With that being said, a big thank you to the LATOKEN team and to Maria for making today's episode possible. Make sure you check us out on LATOKEN.com to hear from today's speakers and all speakers of the VCTV family. With that, I'm your host, Kyle Ellicott. Let's go ahead and dive in and introduce this wonderful cast of characters today. Wendy Diamond, you're up first. A little intro background for everybody.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Maria. Woohoo! We're back. And thank God it's Friday, right? Okay, so I'm Wendy Diamond. I'm an impact investor. I'm in 4 funds. I'm in 3 blockchain Bitcoin funds, investing in anything women-led, and as well as, of course, in the blockchain ecosystem. And then also I just invested in a fund called Earth First Food Ventures. So, protein, plant-based proteins, etc. And I'm also an angel investor and in 20 companies in the impact space. And then I have a foundation in 144 countries called Women's Entrepreneurship Day Organization, where we empower female entrepreneurs around the world, and we work with governments, business leaders, and civil society to do so. And it's an official day on November 19th, so celebrate, woohoo! And that's me. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Wendy. I can't wait to break down and hear more about this fund as well that you just invested in, but we'll come back to that. Mr. Gary Fowler, the one and only Grandmaster of Artificial Intelligence. It's been a while since I pulled out that tagline for you, but
it's been a while. You forgot quantum. Come on.
My apologies. Leader of the quantum realms, plural, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead, Gary.
God, I'm not worthy. Thanks, Kyle. That's great. Great to see some friends and smiling faces today. My name's Gary Fowler. I'm a serial entrepreneur investor. I've done 17 companies, 2 unicorns on the original management team of Click Software. Sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion. Also, Eva.ai, a premier AI HR tech company that I co-founded a little over 5 years ago with Dr. David Yang, Silicon Valley based. I'm the CEO, president, co-founder of GST Get Shit Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in Silicon Valley. We curate companies from all over the world through active participation in those companies. We work in throughout Africa, Asia. We actually have a lot of time we spend in Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, and also South Africa. So it's great to be here, and it's great to see some friends, and look forward to the conversation today. We love early stage investing. We love early stage companies, but we like to see companies that are really growing. And thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Gary. And by the way, thank you, Lisa, for the call out. Lisa, or Wendy, you have a fan out there. Lisa says hello and giving you applause on the panel today. So hi, Lisa. To anyone else listening, throw in your comments. Tell us, say hi. Tell us where you're tuning in from around the world. Any questions you've got for us, drop them in there. Do my best to ask them in real time. Next up, the third and only, because we all called each other before we got on today, VCTV, to make sure we were coordinated together. Frederick, welcome back to the show. A little introduction and background.
Thank you very, very much. Today I'm calling in from Sweden. I'm normally in United Kingdom, London, and it's hard to follow up after Wendy and Gary after great introductions. Thanks so much. And I work mainly with real estate, early stage companies in the UK and mainland Europe. I've been working all over the world, so I would look very much forward to a follow-up call with Gary next week. But this week we'll speak about my favorite topics, early stage venture and seed companies, which is where it happens or not, and why. We'll come back to soon.
I like it. Nice little tee up there, Frederick. All right, Tolga, the one and only everything electric vehicles. If anyone's listening and wants to learn more about EV, this is the guy to talk to. Tolga, welcome back. Little intro background for you.
Yeah, as you mentioned, I work for Loop EV charging network, one of the fastest growing EV charging networks in North America. Before this, I was the CEO and managing partner of New Wave Holdings. Invests into technology, sports, and psychedelics. I'm still an investor partner of this company, and before that, I had my own company, Thunderbolt, which got acquired by New Wave Holdings. And I worked with over 40 different startups, created 6 different companies in the past, helped raising close to $10 million. And my background is in design, technology, design and engineering. I work for companies like Spin Master, Electronic Arts. And yeah, right now, Loop is really exciting. And if you want to learn about EVs and EV charging, definitely your guy, yeah.
It's not just really exciting, everybody. It's freaking exciting. If you haven't checked it out, check it out, by the way. So I'll be shamelessly promoting it throughout today's episodes. Get ready. Last but not least, Alexis, welcome back to the show. A little introduction and background for everybody, please.
Yes, thank you. I'm the managing partner for Subia Digital. I do mainly advising for wealth management platforms. We are currently representing $2 billion from ultra-high net worth individuals and single family offices. I have an EA-based team where we do early stage venture capital, mainly fintech blockchain. We have raised 1 billion euros for approx 50 plus projects. I also do late stage pre-IPO as a global partner to Forge.
Wow. All right. So audience, we've got a wide background, as I told you before we started today. It's going to be a fun episode. Alexis, I want to start with you, actually. You kind of play the entire spread there. You're investing at the early stage. You're kind of late to pre-IPO. And then you've got $2 billion under AUM, assets under management, on the family office side. 2.1. Thank you for the correction. Yeah. Can't forget about that 0.1. Thank you.
Yeah.
With that being said, I mean, that's so much that you're seeing. What is so specific, and why are you looking at the early stage, and particularly fintech and blockchain? What's exciting and happening there right now with all this other stuff that you may be seeing?
I've been active within financial services for 20 plus years as an investment advisor and also broker. So that's our target area. And well, everything is happening from our side within fintech and also blockchain. So that's why we are inside this area, and we're just following the money. So it's quite simple.
I love it. Follow the money. Well, with that being said, Wendy, I'm coming right to you if you're ready for it. Following the money. You're an LP in multiple funds, as we talked about. You just invested in a new fund that I will argue in a positive way is where money is headed, because it's also very impactful for us as individuals in our future. Talk to us about, this new fund that you went into and why it's so important, and especially for the early stage investors to know about, but also those that are building out there as well. I mean, this is a key category at the early stage right now.
Well, first of all, I'm a vegetarian, so anything plant-based, I'm like excited for, because it's finally like when you go to restaurants and everything today, you're like, finally we have something to choose from, right? Because I used to just have to eat salad and French fries, right? And then French fries, make sure it was done in vegetable oil, and it's a whole other thing, right? So that was really my background and why I'm so involved with food. And also I just believe our bodies, we are what we eat. And so, for instance, I'm invested in a company called Producers Market. I've been very much, encompassed in this whole space. And when I met the team over at First Food Ventures, I was literally like, wow, what they're doing is so impressive. These are people that came from, JP Morgan. They were like the heads of Greece and South America, et cetera. And we are, I came in with a bunch of family offices, and we're all about, we want to meet all these young young companies that are in this space, because we have the whole ecosystem around the world to really help them grow and to accelerate. Because I think this is one of the most important movements, as we've seen with Oatly and Beyond Burger, and with Beyond Burger, and Impossible Burger. Yeah, certainly those are great, but that they're great for the environment. And I think right now it's really important. Now, besides the environment, we look how great they are for you as a person and for your own health. So that's pretty much my background and why it was so important to get involved with this team and fund it.
And so when you look at these companies in that impactful space, around food and alternative foods in general, and even pets, I mean, we'll separate the two. On the food side, is this something that more entrepreneurs should be getting to at the early stage, or investors? Because I mean, sometimes they're capital intensive as they grow, and that's not a bad thing. It's just something to be aware of. And are you seeing any new developments in the industry around food tech and alternative foods that are getting you excited right now?
Yeah, I mean, completely, right? Like, I mean, first of all, I mean, I don't know about, most people, but I found it hard to find alternative milk, right? And alternative cheeses. And it just, everything now, there's, in the last 2 weeks, I've probably seen a dozen new plant-based meat companies, right? Like that are really, that taste really good, not there yet, but there's some that are really, really to me, but like, so I think it's like really exciting. I think there's so many, and I think we're partners with, I mean, I would have to say like $30 billion funds that are all in this space. So by creating this group of people that are all interested in that same space, there's opportunity for these smaller companies to grow and have access to capital. And one of my biggest things is, supporting women founders.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. And with that, Tolga, I want to come down to you. I mean, Winnie was talking about impact and climate and why this is so important now more than ever. We've talked about it a lot here, you and I and all of us together on VCTV, but at Loop, you focus on this. And as an investor, you look at this space constantly. What are you seeing that's happening in addition to Loop that's really coming to, I would say, the forefront of the early stage scene right now for investors? Or maybe what are some of those opportunities that people are not paying attention to that they should be for this industry?
EVs are definitely a very hot industry because, yeah, I mean, I was reading a bunch of reports about how the adoption is going to be in the next like 10 years. And in only just a few years, we're going to be seeing exponentially more electric vehicles in the streets, on the roads. So I think I mentioned before too, this is we are in the verge of a big shift, and it's really happening right now. And I feel like we are, as Loop, we are in a very in the right place in the right time. This is seriously so exciting for us too. What I'm seeing is, so since this is a very like a technical industry, like not any entrepreneur can just jump in and start an EV charging company, or not every entrepreneur can go and start an EV company. It takes a substantial amount of capital and also technical knowledge about the automotive industry. And further than that, these battery technologies are also a very newly emerging market. So you need to like not only have capital, also like you also need a great expertise, a technical expertise to get into the space. So this is the largest, to me, this is the largest barrier for entry for entrepreneurs. But for investors, it's a little different. They don't need to know all the technical details, and if they want to be involved, they need to find the right technical team that is literally like extremely knowledgeable about what's happening in the industry, and also what's happening in the EV industry, as well as EV charging. Right now, there's a huge race, and this is kind of like a land grab, because all these EV charging companies are trying to install as many chargers as possible to different locations. And This is going to be affecting our entire energy infrastructure, and we are, like I said, that's why we are in the verge of a huge revolution, not only in the EVs or the way that people consume electricity, but also our whole energy infrastructure is going to change. We're going to see less gas stations in the future, which I'm really happy about. And our streets are going to be cleaner. We are going to be living in a cleaner planet. We're going to be breathing cleaner air. So these are really great impacts. And for startup ventures, like I said, the greatest asset is technical knowledge. And yeah, I mean, these are the greatest, I think, bullet points. In terms of like what people are not paying attention, I think, I mean, like I said, there's like a natural barrier for to enter this market. So even if people pay attention, it's not that easy to start an EV charging company right away. So I think that the energy storage space is really hot, and that's also like it's gonna have so much value in the future. Like maybe in the middle of desert, like how we're having data centers, we're gonna be having huge energy storage centers in the future, and that's also another kind of like land grab for future investors as well. I mean, these are the things. I think the greatest thing that we need to pay attention is how this industry is going to be growing, and our streets. Like, you're going to see more and more EVs, and that means that we are doing well.
Absolutely. I can't wait for it to happen as well. And we're going to stay tuned. We'll come right back on that in just a second. And Frederick, I want to come to you. I mean, FundX is great. I want to learn more for our audience, but I have a more important question for you. You're normally based in the UK, currently in Sweden. So you've got a chance to kind of see a little bit different side of Europe. And from the venture capital side, and early stage in particular, can you tell us a little bit about what's happening in Europe, and even more so on the Nordic side as well, as they're very different? There's been some great companies coming out of Sweden over the last 2 decades that people may not be aware of. But from the early stage side, how are things changing? How are you seeing things currently within the region?
Yeah, I would say if I focus mainly on North Europe, Sweden in particular, this is, like you said, we have more than a handful of really good unicorns coming out of this region, making global brand names, and people usually don't know where they come from. But to follow up with the question, like, what is the scene like here? I'll share some principles which are like universal, but they really apply where I'm right now in Sweden. So on the theme from Wendy, following the money, a couple of things popped up for what Tolga has shared with us. So number one, there, hindsight is so easy to pick the right investments, like Bitcoin and their timing and so on. So timing, the place and location of a company, as well as the luck factor. Those are things which are really in hindsight, like the EV space right now, the plant-based foods. The timing is right, the location, like global online, and then we also got the luck aspect, which is you're lucky enough to be the entrepreneur in the right space, but you will only know with the hindsight. So to attract the really big money, the amount which is high, like they're like big technical investments or technical knowledge or AI or whatever it might be, is helping out a lot. So the land grab, so you have the option really. Do you want to be the first in your space to come up with something, or would you like to instead improve on someone else's? So often we as investors observe that the really big winners are the ones that didn't come up with their early stage idea, but took 1 or 2, 3 things, combined them, and then used something. So coming back to the question, like, why the Nordics? I think the innovation's always been here. The school system is very different. So you learn from a young age, not just to repeat knowledge, but to find new ways, question, and to be curious. And I see that very much in my 2 sons. Their minds is way different from when they went to the school in England. So where else in the world can we find these interesting aspects? I like to link that from the Nordics to the very cold to the very hot Africa, another space which I hope that Gary will share some insights to. But again, timing, place, and luck. Find your own moat for your investment or to grow your own companies. Some of the things that popped up on my mind.
It's like you guys all know each other. You're just perfectly teeing everybody. You're all conductors in today's orchestra. This is perfect. Gary, to you, as it's been teed up, Africa, talk to us about it. We talked a little pre-show about some of the companies and meetings that you're going to be having there. Tell us a little bit about some of your efforts within the region, and to Frederick's point, what's happening in general there as well.
Well, it's there's a lot of great opportunities. It's it's like hitting a gold mine. The challenge is, in fact, I had a conversation this morning with a group in Kenya and also some Nigerian companies this morning. And part of the situation is we people are afraid and don't understand. So they don't want to travel. They don't understand the culture. And you've got, just in Nigeria, there are 206 million people. In the entire African continent, you got 1.2 billion, growing population. And some of the things that we talk about, artificial intelligence, machine learning, specifically in places like Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, South Africa, are really, really growing. I mean, they have a group on the Saturdays they meet called the AI Saturdays that deal with artificial intelligence. A lot of it's focused on fintech, but I mean, these are just incredible companies. I mean, the one company that I talked to this morning is now up. Their revenue is up at already in a year, less than a year, at $800,000 a month. So, and they're using machine learning to be able to optimize for sending mechanics out for car repair, bus repair, truck repair. Sounds like a small thing, but in the emerging economies, it's just incredible. So in Africa, part of it is each one of the countries is a lot different. So if you're in Kenya compared to Nigeria or Ghana, they're just a lot different cultures, a lot different players in the market. But what we're seeing is, it's like when I first went to Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, people said, oh, I'm not sure, the same kind of thing. And then we started an accelerator. Then we started curating companies and taking them over to the U.S. To visit for a couple of weeks at a time. And then I jumped on board with David Yang and Eva, and we created a $1 billion company. So it's the same kind of thing, Kyle. These are untapped opportunities. And, we say intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world, but opportunities aren't. In each job as a corporate citizen, and I don't mean from an entitlement standpoint, but an opportunity standpoint, is let's curate the companies. I mean, they want to win. They want to go global. They want to go beyond the regions, and let's help them do it. So, the good news is we don't have a lot of competition because not a lot of people, especially with COVID, want to travel. So we're excited about it. And we just came back from Nigeria a couple of weeks ago, and we're looking forward to going back again in June to the continent. It's just an incredible, incredible place. It's I don't want to say diamonds in the rough, but they're really gold mines to be able to mine, and some really cool people that are really literally on the cutting edge. Because if you don't have the infrastructure, you need to scale, and you got to move onto something else that works. So if you can't get payments, and by the way, we do the same thing in Latin America. You got 647 million people in Latin America, and again, untapped and COVID, et cetera. But we have a payment company in Argentina, and that payment company just signed a deal with the United Nations to disperse payments for migrants, and also with Uber, because we don't have the same kind of payment structures, and we just cut a deal with Uber. So there's a lot of opportunities, but you got to be willing to think out of the box to do it, and understand, accepting as you are, and all of our panelists are today, accepting other cultures and other ways of doing business, and understand that you may not always be right.
Yeah, you're right. And Gary, I want to come to you real quick and come around to everybody before we get to closing thoughts here. An industry that people are not paying attention to that they should be. Thoughts from your side, just one industry that you think people need to start paying attention to now going forward that they might not be. Gary first.
Quantum computing.
Oh, I did not see that one coming. There we go. Leader of the quantum realms.
Yeah. I mean, if you get a chance, I just had one of the top quantum physicists who's Harvard, MIT, I mean, they talk about it as the next Stephen Hawking's, literally. And we're talking about the impact on communications. Imagine communication systems that aren't 10 times, but hundreds of times faster than what we have today. So the quantum internet, in fact, I just wrote an article in Forbes about the quantum internet. So you need to check it out. Seriously, now's the time to get into it because it's going to dramatically shift society. They're saying that quantum computers now, as early as 2022, but with a range of 2027, we're able to crack Bitcoin's encryption. I mean, they're that powerful. And quantum computers were used, by the way, for some of the drug discovery for the recent. So not just AI, but quantum computers.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. There's one. Tolga, to you. One industry people need to be paying attention to. You mentioned energy storage. You can reuse it, or if you have another one, what should people be paying attention to get into at the early stage right now?
Psychedelics.
Oh, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday. Told you it was going to be a fun episode. All right.
Hey, man.
Psychedelics. Okay, Frederick, to you.
The worst guy on the panel, because I changed the rules, I respond to the questions slightly different. So I say, which industry? I say China. China. So often forgotten what's happening there. And that's across all industries. So much innovation, even if the money is over in Silicon Valley. A lot of the new stuff is happening in China, and we miss it all the time. Just go there and see for yourself.
All right. Alexis.
Yeah, fintech and wealth management platforms. What we can see from ultra high net worth individuals and single family offices is that they are at present very tied up and fed up with the normal private banks and the financial services institutions. What they want is that they want to see wealth consolidation, risk mitigation, and opportunities with transparency, not from a sell-side position. So that's why we went the platform that I represent from approx $1 billion to 2.1 now, and it's coming even more. They don't even want to talk to their private bankers anymore. So that's happening real fast now.
All right, there you go, Wendy Diamond.
I would have to, well, first of all, I agree with Frederick because right now, I mean, literally 3 of my companies have gotten grants, like $1 million grants from the Chinese government to set up offices there. So there's a lot of opportunity for US companies to go to China, and they're very into innovation, so they're ready. But my thing is pets. I mean, come on. I mean, everybody knows a lot of the shelters are cleared out because of the pandemic because people want pets, right? They want dogs, they want unconditional love, they want loyalty and a bond. And what's really amazing is all of these health companies in the pet space. I mean, there's a company now we're looking at that is basically taking, already medications for people, but then adjusting them for pets. And one of them is really right now getting FDA approved, and it's also looking very, very positive. So I think that what we're going to see a lot is a lot more innovation in the pet space.
I love it. All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There's a few different industries for you to be focusing on, whether you're investing or you are building in. With that, we're coming around to closing thoughts because it's Friday. Let everyone have a little bit of extra time in their day because you've got to connect with each and every one of these investors. So with this extra time today, make sure you do that. Wendy Diamond, start us off. Closing thoughts, advice for entrepreneurs getting started in the early stage game, and where can they find you online to connect further?
There's no better opportunity, especially for women, but of course men too. Woohoo, we don't discriminate. But there's so many opportunities for incubators and accelerators and everything with every space, whether it's the health space, pet space, any kind of space, blockchain space, anything. So just please do your research and find it and connect with our foundation, Women's Entrepreneurship Day organization. We're in 144 countries and we work with all sorts of everybody and we collaborate with everybody. So happy to help you. And if you go onto our website, womenseday.org, you can connect with our 350 ambassadors around the world that are always helping women entrepreneurs. And also, if you check out wendydiamond.com, you can see the funds that I'm invested in and the companies I am. I'm always open and happy to introduce you to everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful. And congratulations again on the new fund. Gary Fowler, you're up next.
Yeah. So, take a look at AI, the intersection of AI and quantum computing. It's hot. We've got data surrounding us, as I've I've spoken about many, many times, and each one of we're inundated. We're a state of infobesity. So those companies that can help not only understand the data, but help us make decisions using unsupervised artificial intelligence are really going to be hot. And then quantum coming in. Also, cybersecurity. So you can reach me, Gary Fowler, on LinkedIn. Reach me on Twitter. Love to hear from you. Check out my shows. Google my name and check them out. We got some really cool people, and great to be here. Thanks, Kyle.
Wonderful. Thank you. Alexis, you're up next. Closing thoughts and where you can be found.
Yeah, blockchain. And well, it's very simple. You just focus on your product market fit, building the right team, and then focus on all the other resources on doing what you're supposed to do. Execution is everything.
Wonderful. Thank you. Tolga, you're up next. Closing thoughts and where can you, along with EV Loop, be found? Oh, Tolga, we might have you on mute there. There you go.
Sorry. Closing thoughts. I really encourage people to purchase EVs. I think there's no point of buying a gasoline car anymore at this point. Really, that's my very blunt opinion. And yeah, definitely pay attention to the EV charging and electric vehicle market, because this is going to be an exponentially growing, mind-blowing industry. This is the biggest industry in the world, so it's going through a huge revolution. And yeah, it's very exciting. You can reach me on LinkedIn, Tolga Onuk, and my website is tolgaonuk.com. Our company website, Loop, is evloop.io. It's a really cool website. Please check it out. And if you want to learn more about EVs, you can reach us anytime. And yeah, I would love to share more with you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Last but not least, Frederick, close us out. Closing thoughts, where can you be found?
All right, Frederick Sandvall, just Google it, you will find lots. LinkedIn is the best place to connect with me, and I have just exited 3 companies and left a couple of boards. So for the first time in more than 10 years, I now have time. So I would like to highlight myself. If you're looking for a deal maker on a global scale who's traveling and happy to help, then do reach out in the PE and VC industry. Happy to find the next opportunity together with you. Thank you.
Wow, throwing a curveball of excitement right there. Celebration. Congratulations, Frederick. Wow. All right. Good news all around from today's crowd. Audience, again, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for all the hellos. Hello to all of you as well for tuning in around the world. We're excited to have you today. Go enjoy your Friday, or wherever you may be in the world, enjoy your day, no matter which it is. And also make sure you take time to reach out to all of today's investors, because they are all excited to engage and continue today's conversation or much others around the industries they spoke about. But make sure you add context when you reach out, where you heard them, where you met them, what you would like to continue the conversation about as well. With that being said, a big thank you again to everyone, including our co-hosts today. Check us out on LATOKEN.com, hear from today's speakers and all speakers of the VCTV family. Big thank you to the LATOKEN team and to Maria for making today's episode possible as well. With that, I'm your host, Kyle Ellicott. Check me out on Twitter, along with all of our outstanding co-hosts today on social media. And again, just make sure you add context, where you heard us, where you met us, what you'd like to continue the conversation about. With that, happy Friday, everybody. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday for more VCTV.
Bye-bye.
Everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.